I want you to hit me as hard as you can.
Well, the time has finally arrived for the legendary Pictures Monsterverse to culminate with the long-awaited rematch between two of cinema's biggest movie monsters, as the King of the Monsters and the Eighth Wonder of the World duke it out for the fate of the planet in Godzilla vs. Kong. And with the film receiving the best reviews for a Monsterverse movie to date, this just may be the one which finally delivers on the epic kaiju chaos that we've wanted from this franchise all along. So since I've already focused on a Godzilla movie for this show 2 years ago, let us now turn our attention towards his ape adversary, King Kong.
Lady, it's King Kong!
First introduced in the 1933 cinema classic that dazzled Depression-era audiences with its revolutionary special effects, with Kong coming back in plenty of big-budget remakes, animated TV shows, and Broadway musicals over the next 88 years. But it was one movie in particular that nearly threw the king from his throne, and that would be the 1986 sequel snafu known as King Kong Lives. Where it only took 9 months for them to make a sequel to the original King Kong, it took an entire decade to make a follow-up to the 1976 King Kong remake, from famed Italian mega-producer Dino de Laurentiis, who was eager to bring Kong back from the dead after the remake's significant box office success, only to be held back by a messy legal battle over who owned the rights to the King Kong property. So when De Laurentiis finally got the Kong sequel off the ground 10 years later, with the only person returning from the original being director John Guillermin, the fever for a new Kong movie had pretty much died down to a dull roar. And King Kong Lives was met with a brutal death from both disapproving critics and disinterested audiences, with the film's box office failure forcing De Laurentiis' movie studio to declare bankruptcy, and Kong having to wait another 2 decades for Peter Jackson to have him swinging back onto the big screen. So out of Kong's many media appearances, how was it that King Kong Lives ended up being the beauty that nearly killed off this beast for good? Will this film be any worse than the direct-to-video animated musical remake of King Kong? And how is it that King Kong has had 2 musicals based off of him, while Godzilla has had absolutely none? I mean, think about it. Since Godzilla failed to take over New York with that terrible Roland Emmerich movie, then maybe a Broadway musical could end up doing the trick. Just as long as they don't hand off the songwriting duties to P. Diddy.
I wanna fight you! I'm gonna fight you! Can't stand!
Whether you're on Team Kong or Team Godzilla, all of us are members of Team Booze. So let us climb atop the Anheuser-Busch factory to play the awfully good drinking game. Take a double shot as our sequel opens up with the ending of the last King Kong, which had Kong climbing atop the World Trade Center with his lady love Jessica Lange in his hands and Jeff Bridges watching from the sidelines. And I am positive that neither Jessica or Jeff were paid for their footage being shamelessly recycled for this sequel.
Dude, come on. You're being very undude.
Kong swats at the military helicopters that are shooting at him, but of course he succumbs to his injuries and falls to the ground below. I'm sorry, did I just see Kong disappearing out of thin air for a frame of the movie? It's like they're reminding us how terrible the 70s special effects looked so that the 80s effects won't look as bad by comparison. Spoiler alert, the 80s effects will end up looking significantly worse. Cut to 10 years later at the Atlanta Institute in Georgia, where a team of doctors is working around the clock tending to the comatose body of our big ape. And the head of Kong's medical team is none other than a post-Terminator Linda Hamilton as Dr. Amy Franklin, who regrets to inform the academic staff that the mechanical heart transplant which they plan to revive Kong with will not work unless the ape gets a transfusion of blood from another one of his species.
That heart cost this institute $7 million.
He's been comatose too long.
There is simply no other species whose plasma will transfuse with Kong's. Only one thing can save Kong.
What's that?
A miracle.
Aside from this plot feeling like the weirdest General Hospital storyline ever, I have to ask why these people are trying to bring this giant ape back to life after he'd nearly wiped New York City off the face of the earth. And how do you spend millions of dollars and 10 years on a robotic monkey heart, only to just now find out that the monkey also needs a blood transfusion which you can't provide to him? Why don't you people spend your money towards a less stupid idea, like putting Hitler's brain into a cheetah? Cheetah Hitler! Meanwhile, over in the jungles of Borneo, we meet the dashing male hero of our story, an adventurer named Hank Mitchell, played by Brian Kerwin.
Who?
Yeah, who needs the star power of Jeff Bridges when you can instead have the guy who'd later play Robin Williams' dad in Jack? We find Mitch taking a rest in the middle of the jungle when what should he find himself sleeping on but a paw that belongs to yet another 60-foot ape.
Holy shit.
More like holy tits. Look at those gorilla gazongas. Can we show this? Does YouTube's nudity policy apply towards prosthetic gorilla titties? Anyway, Mitch gets in touch with the Institute about selling his discovery to them for their blood transfusion.
My ape ain't a him, it's a her.
And a damn good looking one, too.
We cannot bring a female here. We are not lancing a hemorrhoid here. We're replacing a heart.
Wait, we're not lancing Kong's hemorrhoids? But I was told the alternate title for this movie was King Kong Finds Blood in His Stool. And despite Dr. Franklin giving them her "you better fucking not" face, the Institute buys the female ape from Mitch, who brings Lady Kong over in a plane where the two of them face the awaiting press.
Mr. Mitchell, how did you get the ape from the jungle?
I left a trail of bananas.
This acquisition establishes beyond question the scientific preeminence of Atlantic Institute.
Hold on, did you just call it the Atlantic Institute? But your title card said that this was the Atlanta Institute.
We figure that Kong Island and Borneo were both part of the same landmass.
And you're calling his homeland Kong Island instead of the more commonly known name of Skull Island? And now that I think about it, why is the female named Lady Kong instead of the more obvious name of Queen Kong?
You are dealing with a lady!
You're not gonna get what you want from Lady Kong!
How dare you suggest that females don't have any right to ascend upon the throne of Kong? Are we gonna have to bring Oprah in here to arrange an exclusive interview with the Kongs?
What?
So with the transfusion complete, Dr. Franklin and her team are ready to cut Kong's chest open with some oversized medical equipment borrowed from Carrot Top's prop chest to insert his new heart. Hey, remember how the original movie had Kong fighting off giant dinosaurs and snakes? Well, who needs that shit when we can watch an unconscious Kong undergoing real-time heart surgery? Where the only thrills to be had are from the dramatic zoom-ins on the characters' faces and Kong's new heart nearly falling off a giant crane. And just wait till they find out that Jerry and Kramer accidentally dropped a Junior Mint inside of Kong's chest cavity.
It's chocolate, it's peppermint, it's delicious!
The successful heart transplant draws a cheering crowd outside the Institute that apparently forgot all about the national tragedy that this ape caused just 10 years ago. You Kong, me Faye, as in Faye Ray from the 30s King Kong? Does that mean that the original movie exists inside the universe of this remake? Meanwhile, Kong finally awakens from his coma as his doctors discover that he's picking up the scent of Lady Kong even as she's a mile away inside a giant warehouse.
That horny son of a bitch. He smells the female a mile away.
And so this horny son of a bitch breaks free from his restraints to commence wrecking that ass like it was a city.
It's Maslensky. The other monkey's gone.
Oh god, I'm really gonna drop this shitty punchline, aren't I?
Ape shit.
Kong arrives just in time to save his female counterpart from being transferred over to a farther facility. As he steps over plenty of exploding trucks and forklifts to escape from the premises with his lady in his arms. Love lift Kong up where he belongs. Now we know that Kong's previous two love affairs were destined to end tragically, what with our society's laws against bestiality and the significant size difference in genitalia. So as silly as these love scenes between the two Kongs may be, it's admittedly kind of sweet to see King Kong finally able to romance a girl of his own size and species. The male ape is now signifying to the female that he has a deep wound on his knee, and as the female tends to the wound with water from a nearby stream, the male attempts to grab at the female's posterior. Naturally, the female is greatly displeased at the male's sexual advances, and will later report his behavior on her Twitter feed, thus cancelling plans for a third King Kong film. As for the film's human romantic leads, Brian Kerwin and Linda Hamilton share far less chemistry with each other, with Hamilton sounding audibly bored with her terrible dialogue.
Where do you get that hat? Camp Beverly Hills?
And Kerwin's character being such a blatant Indiana Jones knockoff that even the film itself cops to it.
Her words were, "You don't need me, you've got Indiana Jones."
Granted, I do like that Linda Hamilton plays a far stronger female character here than the damsels in distress of the previous Kong movies. Kind of reminiscent of Sarah Connor's transformation into a badass in Terminator 2. But when the script insists on getting a romance going between these two non-Kong leads, she immediately drops her panties for this unlikable jackass.
You sure about this?
We're primates, too.
Now get over here, primate, so that I can pick bugs out of your back hair and fling my shit at you.
And take another double shot when you spot a nip slip from Linda Hamilton. Sorry, Linda, but Lady Kong's already got you beat in that department. Danger is soon afoot when we meet the man tasked to hunt down the runaway Kongs, Colonel Archie Nevitt, played by Sergeant Taggart of Beverly Hills Cop John Ashton, who, like any good evil army guy stereotype, likes to chomp on cigars and look through his binoculars while barking orders at his men.
Well, we should have no problem identifying the enemy. They're approximately 50 feet tall and wearing their birthday suits.
Well, that doesn't narrow it down at all. What if you accidentally captured the amazing Colossal Man or the 50-foot woman? They're both 50 feet tall and mostly nude. Nevitt and his troops move in to drop some knockout gas on the two Kongs, and when Kong fails to fall unconscious from the gas, it is on like King Kong. Be careful, men! That ape's got plenty of barrels to throw at us! And use those hammer power-ups wisely! They don't last forever! Unfortunately, Lady Kong is knocked out and airlifted away while her lover watches in sadness.
Stay alive, no matter what occurs. I will find you.
And with Kong cornered in at both sides by the army, he's got no choice but to pull a John Rambo / Richard Kimball and jump off of a cliff into the waters below.
Not even your Kong can survive that.
Yeah, nice try, movie, but your plot is predicated on this ape having survived a fall from the top of a 1,000-foot building. So I will place the odds of him surviving a rock to the head somewhere between very likely and of course he fucking will. We cut a few months later to find that Lady Kong has been locked below in a secret military facility, where Dr. Franklin finds the poor ape crying out in pain, which she interprets as a sign that King Kong is still alive.
Kong's alive.
Don't be ridiculous.
I feel it too. It was you who told us that some primate species mate for life, that the male returns.
Not if he's dead.
And indeed, Kong has survived his head injury and currently resides in a swampy bayou where he subsists himself by noshing on alligators that have the ability to turn from baby alligators in long shots to full-grown alligators in close-up shots with the magic of a badly placed edit. And since the Kongs apparently have some sort of psychic link with each other whenever both of them stare up at the same bright sky, King Kong heads out to reunite with his lady, only to find himself in a far more dangerous place than Skull Island, the American South. You heard that right. Kong is now being chased by a town full of gun-toting rednecks that look to bring Kong down before the army does.
What the hell is this? Deliverance? I want that ape's head on the hood of my pickup!
Yeah, I know it'll be impossible to drive my truck with a giant ape head weighing it down and obstructing my view, but now I'll be the envy of all my friends at the Kid Rock concert! The rednecks are able to pin Kong down by blowing up a canyon with dynamite and weighing him down with falling rocks, and they have them some fun with this giant gorilla. taking pictures with Kong, forcing Kong to drink some of their booze. Hell, these pig fuckers just stopped short of making Kong squeal like a pig.
I don't like this boy's attitude. Yeah, we gotta teach him some respect.
Wait, I thought that Deliverance reference earlier was just a joke. Are we seriously gonna see these hillbillies try pulling some ape rape? No, thankfully, Kong escapes from the pile of rocks and picks off the two surviving rednecks with the most hilariously awful special effects of the film.
I'll never do a slim Jim.
Ugh, Kong have something stuck in teeth. Huh, this hat look awfully familiar. Oh no, Kong accidentally eat Ernest P. Worrell. What have Kong done? And the movie somehow finds the strength to debase itself even further as Kong walks into a nearby town for some comedic crossovers with other 80s movies. Kong versus Back to the Future.
21 gigawatts!
Great Scott.
Kong versus Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh no! My dad's gonna kill me!
Kong versus Caddyshack. At this rate, the movie might just get stupid enough to actually have Kong facing off against Cheetah Hitler. Then again, it's not like the movie gets any less silly when it switches back to the drama, as Kong accidentally steps on the electronic monitor that Dr. Franklin has been using to keep Kong's heart transplant in check.
His heart won't last a day.
Oh, this is a big one. You hear that, Elizabeth? I'm coming to join you, honey.
So now Mitch and Amy must break into the military facility and reunite Lady Kong with her dying lover, especially since Lady Kong happens to be carrying a special surprise for her hubby.
What have they done to her?
They haven't done anything. She's pregnant.
I don't know whether to be glad or disappointed that we didn't get to see a sex scene between the Kongs. Perhaps a hybrid between the two? Glad-suppointed? King and Lady Kong are once again reunited, with Brian Kerwin being carried away in Lady Kong's hands in a somewhat clever gender reversal of the previous two movies, which is quickly offset by yet another stupid joke involving Kong and the redneck stereotypes.
I ain't seen you in 100 years, boy. You don't never know who's gonna show up at one of these family reunions, do you?
Okay, really, did this script get an uncredited rewrite from the writing staff of Hee Haw? Just as Lady Kong starts going into labor, Colonel Nevitt and his men arrive to shoot the Kongs dead against the wishes of Nevitt's superiors.
Fire!
You hit the female! She's in labor!
I said fire, damn it!
And even though I have no discernible clue as to why John Ashton is so damn hellbent on killing this giant monkey, I sure do enjoy the massacre of exploding trucks and tanks that ensues, which culminates with Kong killing Colonel Nevitt the same way that he killed Colonel Samuel L. Jackson. Oh, wonderful. This fucking guy even dies like an evil cartoon, with his feet sticking up from the ground like the fucking Wicked Witch. And though Kong is once again nearing his death, he still has enough time left to be at his wife's side as she gives birth to their beautiful son of Kong.
Show him his son.
Hey, come on over here. I won't hurt you.
God damn it! Kong knew that you were sleeping with that bastard Godzilla behind Kong's back! Oh, that's it! Kong going to find that lizard son of bitch and punch him in face all over again! I kid, of course. These two giant apes end up with a tiny little baby. And as much as we're hoping for this family to return for the King Kong holiday special, Father Kong must sadly leave behind his wife and son to die for good this time. And I am not ashamed to admit that this scene left me just a little bit verklempt. What can I say? I never like to see Kong die in these movies. And having a cute little baby Kong crying for his daddy makes it all the sadder.
Dad, come on. You gotta get up. Dad, we gotta go home.
Oh god, I've never been this emotional towards the death of a cinematic primate since I watched the R-rated director's cut of Dunstan Checks In. But since Mitch bought up a nature reserve for the Kong family earlier in the movie, Lady Kong and Kong Jr. are able to live happily ever after on Kong Island. At least until the elderly Linda Hamilton comes back 30 years later for Son of Kong versus Son of Godzilla. And I know which side I'm going to be rooting for in that movie.
Your folks will get kind of...
While the '76 King Kong received an honorary Oscar for its visual effects, the effects in King Kong Lives garnered a Razzie nomination, even though the sequel brought back FX master Carlo Rambaldi. And it's astonishing how cheap the ape suits look here compared to Rick Baker's work with the costume in the '76 Kong. It's barely above the level of an escaped zoo gorilla from a Three Stooges short. But since this would be the last Kong movie to use practical effects before the CGI effects of the Peter Jackson version and the Monsterverse movies, the costumes add to the considerable camp value that King Kong Lives has to offer, with a tone that veers wildly from corny humor to unintentionally funny melodrama, and a lot of likable moments from Kong that save the film from dragging too much. Unfortunately, this movie is harder to capture than King Kong himself, as I had to watch the movie through an out-of-print DVD that costs $45 on eBay. Here's hoping that Shout Factory can give King Kong Lives the same Blu-ray treatment they gave to the '76 Kong, so that Kong can prove to Godzilla that he's not the only movie monster with a hilariously embarrassing movie or two underneath their giant belt. However, I am glad to report that the King Kong animated musical is now readily available to stream on Prime Video. On the enjoyableness continuum scale from Bull to Bruce, King Kong Lives shows us that Kong's cameo alongside Fred Savage in The Wizard was not his worst film appearance of the 80s.
Just sit down and have fun, damn it!
And flings a fighter pilot's plane into a 7 out of 10. Oh no, it wasn't the airplanes. 'Twas terrible filmmaking killed the beast. I'm Jesse Shade for JoBlo.com, and thanks again for watching our show. If you like what you see, please subscribe to the JoBlo Videos channel. Tell all your friends who like this sort of content, and turn on the bell to receive notifications for all of our latest videos. We are an independent company that appreciates all of your support. And if any of you watching are responsible for review bombing Godzilla vs. Kong's IMDb page, you better knock that shit off, or else Warner Brothers is gonna drop far more than just a hammer on you.